Hey, Grant Cardone here. Welcome to Young Hustlers on this Thursday afternoon. My man right here, Jared Glant, at Jared Glant, at Grant Cardone on Twitter, on the Twitter universe, as Twitter goes public today from $26 to $46.
Boom.
Hey, look, let me tell you a little Twitter advice. Quit worrying about Twitter doubling and worry about your own stock value. Worry about your own brand. I also have in here today Terry McCoy. Terry's with Miami New Times, right, Terry?
Yes, I am.
How old are you, Terry?
T-Mac.
28 years old.
28 years old. He also, ladies and gentlemen, just by age alone, is a young hustler. I don't know if he's a hustler or not, but I know he's young. He's in that exact age group that me and Jared actually taught me into doing this show and said, hey, man, why don't you do a show for guys that are 18 to 32 years old that are young, new millennials. I think the new millennial guys get a bad rap. You get a bad reputation. People say you're lazy, you're entitled, you don't work. Dude, don't listen to that, okay? It's ridiculous. Whoever's telling you that is just completely confused. There's 75 million new millennials, and the planet needs your thinking. It needs your aggression. It needs your ideas. It needs your creativity. It needs a guy like Jared Glant.
Get your game on right now.
We call him the Wave because his hair is so good, okay? And, Terry, we're going to bring Terry on the show in a few minutes with New Miami Times, or Miami New Times, and he asked me, he's like, man, how many hours you work a day? I said, yeah, I don't even know. I don't know how many hours I work a day.
It doesn't end. It doesn't stop.
I just know I'm hustling. I'm trying to take care of my kiddies, my family, my wife, myself. I'm trying to take care of the company. I'm trying to hire new people. I got some new people with me today. Paulie, he's a great guy. I got Robert. Robert's exceptional.
Rad job.
Hey, my Twitter handle is at Grant Cardone. You're on Young Hustlers. This is at Jared Glant. If you want to follow my newest friend, it's Terrence_McCoy, right?
That's right.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Hey, today we're talking about Jared. What are we talking about, brother?
We're talking today about being the youngest person in the room.
Jared asked me before the show, dude, look, you started your business when you were 29 years old. What did you do when you were the youngest guy in the room? Because there's going to be a time where you're the youngest guy in the room. You're just the youngest guy, okay? Here's my tips for you. If you're the youngest guy in the room, and you're having to pitch to a bunch of salt and pepper guys.
And if you're a young hustler, 99% of the time you will be the youngest person in the room.
Yeah, because you know what? Your buddies ain't got any money, so you better be the youngest guy in the room.
Yeah, well, that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, so you're going to be in front of people probably that have more experience, been in business. But here's what you need to know. When you're the youngest guy in the room, you represent, number one, 75 million people just in the United States, okay? That's 22%, 24% of the entire population. See, I'm 55 years old. I can't say that. I can't say I represent almost one third of the population in America. Those people have dollars, man. There is no group of people in the United States today that the sellers, the manufacturers, people that move products has more attention on than this new millennial, your group. Number two, your attitude matters less than your age. Okay, when I hire somebody here, I don't care how old you are. You could be 84 or 24. Look, I care about your attitude. Do you have the hustle? Do you have the positive attitude? Do you have that can-do thing? Do you show up early? Do you stay late? This guy's got a great attitude. I've flown 3 million miles. We just got off the road yesterday in Indy. This guy's with me the whole way, man. I mean, you kind of behind me some of the time, right? It's hard to keep up with me, isn't it?
It is. It moves fast.
But he said something to me yesterday. He's like, dude, he was telling a guy on the phone, he's like, look, man, if you want to roll with this guy, drink his coffee, act the way he acts, wear his shoes, talk his talk, just get into the role of the whole thing. And that's what I'm talking about when I say attitude. If you're working for a company and you don't like it, maybe it's because you're fighting what's going on there. Just drop into whatever's going on there and really support that with a positive attitude.
Yeah,
you want to say anything about that?
Well, you really want to look at the people that have done what you want to do successfully already. Like we've got an entire course in one of our programs about the top traits of the most successful people. If I wanted to be the best golfer in the world, I'm going to go out and find out what Tiger Woods does every day to practice, to train, who his swing coach is, how often he plays, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I think people overcomplicate it.
Yeah, we're talking about what do you do when you're the youngest person in the room? Understand this. Go in that room and know, hey, I represent 75 million people. Number two, my attitude matters more than my age. You're probably thinking about your age more than they are.
In most cases.
Okay. Because look, if I'm 55 years old and my company gave you the right to walk in the room and pitch me, I'm like, dude, what's this young guy know? See, you're thinking about how young you are, and I'm thinking about, well, how'd they let him in the room? What does he know? Does he know something? So the third thing I want you to remember is this: never ever bring your age up. Don't do this as an opener. I know I'm the youngest guy in the room here. Yeah, dude, why'd you remind me of that? Okay. Dude, just don't. Why are you going to spend time talking about your age when your age doesn't matter to me? Does it really? I mean, look at the people that have done something great on this planet. Jesus Christ was 33 years old. We got a picture of the big guy?
JC.
Okay. Boom, 33 years old, man. We're still talking about him 2,000 years later, okay? And he didn't start when he was 33. You like that picture?
It's a good picture.
Okay. He didn't start when he was 33, okay? How about my boy Mark Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg. I can't even say. Oh, bow. How old was he? Facebook boy, okay?
Young.
1 billion people on planet Earth know this kid. He could be my son. Do you know that, Paulie? Who else I got? I got my favorite, Alexander the Great, 16 years old and had conquered planet Earth. Don't even have a photo of him. The guy's so old. Okay? All you get is an image of him on a horse. Conquered planet Earth at 16. Bad dude, bro. You think he walked into a country and said, hey, by the way, I'm about to invade you with 100 people and you got 10,000. We only got 100. And hey, just want to let you know I'm only 16. No, man, you never bring your age up. Baby, what you do is you bring your game. The fourth step is this: have your pitch ready. You got to have your pitch ready. What are you going to say? Jared, talk about, we just finished shooting 6 episodes of my new show called Whatever It Takes. By the way, we got a wristband for you, Whatever It Takes. On the backside it says, I'm committed, okay? And I am committed, okay? Trust me, some people think I'm crazy.
We all committed.
And when you get all in and you go all in, people are going to say things like, man, he's a whack job. That guy's crazy. That guy's over the top. That guy's obsessed. But we're committed here. Talk about when we did these 6 episodes of Whatever It Takes, how few people had their pitch ready.
Oh my God. 95% of the people that we brought in for a specific exercise had no clue how to sell themselves, how to sell anything.
And they knew they were coming to a job interview. Everybody knew they were on a job interview. Everybody knew, hey, you're on a job interview. Your job is to build value, sell yourself, pitch us why we should hire you. I know you think this is a reality TV show, and yes, there were cameras around. This is the ultimate job interview. We told everybody that going in. Have your pitch ready. Oh, by the way, I'm a salesperson. I've written 4 sales books. People know me as a sales guy, so selling's going to be important.
And we talked about this last week in the show last week is you always have to have a pitch ready because you never know when you're going to have to actually pitch.
You never know when somebody's going to say, hey, you got 60 seconds. Okay, it's going to happen to you in your career. Somebody is going to let you in the right room with the right players, and they're going to have the right money and the right decision makers. Guarantee you somebody in your career is going to say, you have 60 seconds, you have 3 minutes, you have a minute and a half.
Perfect example. I when I was 26 years old, I came to work for Grant. Didn't really have much experience.
26 years old.
Didn't have much experience at all.
Did I ask to see your resume?
No resume.
Did I ask you about your degree until just 10 minutes ago?
No degree was requested, and Grant just found out I graduated from college about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We were at a convention, actually, one of the biggest deals that we've done to date since I've been here. I got 2 weeks after I started with Kawasaki Motor Corporation. 26 years old, I saw the vice president of sales walking through the casino, and I went right up to him, and I had a tight pitch. It was compelling, and now we're doing business with him.
He's 26 years old, and I sent him to Vegas and said, hey, get some business, dude. He didn't know anybody there. I could have sent another 8 or 9 guys over there, and they would have come back with nothing. Oh, there's nothing happening at the conference. This is what he knew. He represents a large portion of the population. His attitude matters more than his age. Number 3, he didn't bring his age up. You don't go to the guy that runs Kawasaki and says, by the way, I'm 26 years old. Can I buy you a drink? The guy would think that's weird. He'd be like, you hitting on me or something? What's the deal here, okay? And have a pitch, man. What's your pitch? What is it you want to say? What is it you want me to remember when you walk out of the room? You know, I've done hundreds of interviews for Fox, CNBC, MSNBC. I always go into these interviews saying, I don't care what their questions are. What do I want the viewer or the listener to remember when this is over? And that's how you need to formulate your pitch. What do I want people to say about me when I walk out the room? Oh, he's 26? No, you want them to say what? He has this, 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 and this. This is what he knows. This is what he can do for us. This is how he can build value.
Well, the best way to overcome any considerations that anybody has about your age is to be on your game. Period.
Yeah.
When you open your mouth and the swag starts just flowing out, just oozing, you start oozing sales swag everywhere, it completely will change.
Give me your best swag, man.
Dude, I don't even got to open my mouth.
Oh my God, that's good, man. You got a booger in your nose, though.
Come on, man. Why you
Hey,
calling-
look, I wanted to ask Terry. Terry McCoy is with Miami New Times. Okay, you can call in, by the way, 305-865-5260, 305-865-5260. Lisa right here. DJ Silk's on with us, Sherry Hamilton, Derek Clark, Don Mass, Lisa Conception saying, hey, where do I call? 305-865-5260. We got Christopher Grigsby. Imperial Press Direct, a number of other people. If you're on Twitter, I appreciate it. I'm at Grant Cardone. Terry McCoy, also Terrence_McCoy on Twitter. I'm getting him some followers right now.
Thank you.
He's with the Miami New Times, and I want him either to ask a question or tell me, do you think the millennials are beat up by the press and the media?
Oh, every day.
Why? Why is this?
Well, because the millennials have been most affected by the economy that we're living in right now. And when you look at that alone, people say, what is it about this demographic that makes them different? Why is this demographic underemployed compared to others? And then people start, it's just confirmation bias, and it's inverted sort of reasoning. They say, why is this group more affected than others? And they start looking for excuses.
More
for that.
negatively
Exactly.
affected. Yeah. So like they went to college and they can't get a job.
Yeah, they went to college, went to wrong schools, didn't go to school enough. They started looking for all these different excuses for why I don't have a job or my buddies don't have a job.
Right.
And so when you're dealt a bad hand like that, people are constantly looking for an excuse to explain why they had the life that they do.
Yeah.
Would be my idea.
And so, and we were talking before this about college and how important college is. Like, how do you get a job with the Miami New Times? How do you do that?
How do you get a job with them? You're right. Hopefully, you're right. Well,
Do they pay anything?
Then not as much as I would like. I'd like to talk to my editor about that a little bit, but they do
Right.
pay. Yeah, well, the Miami New Times. I firmly believe that we are one of the best publications in the entire nation. We hit with harder stories. We do better investigations. We're funnier. We're more fun to read than any other publication in South Florida, bar none, and one of the best in the entire nation, day in and day out. And to write for us, you got to be one of the best writers out there. And I wouldn't say that.
So how'd you get that job? Did you go to them or did they come to you?
It was both. I mean, well, first I was at we have a lot of papers across the nation: Village Voice, LA Weekly, Houston Press. I was in Houston, and I was transferring from Houston out to Miami. Before that, I was in New York. But you get that job by building up experience, and you just hustle and hustle and hustle. Would be the way I did it.
Yeah, and when you use the term hustling, you're not using that in the slang, ghetto, slinging ice and stuff. You're talking about just work.
Well, breaking
That's
into professional writing is one of the most difficult industries to break into, bar none. And the way you do it is
How many books have you written?
one.
Okay.
And the way you do it.
And he's a professional writer. So what you might want to take away from that is I've written 4 and I'm not a professional writer.
What are you trying to say right now?
Go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying though is that the way you do it is you have to be constantly freelancing at the beginning when you're not even sure if it's going to come through.
And freelancing means what?
Pitching editors every day.
Dude, what's he telling you? He's telling you to get out into the world. Freelancing is not just for writers. It's for anybody that wants to get your game on.
And there was an interesting point that you said about experience. And I was just talking to one of our newer sales guys today, and I said, imagine if you had a hose and you had this bucket, and this bucket was 10,000 gallons of water. And the longer you stood there with the hose and filled that bucket up with water, the closer you were going to get to that tipping point where you finally hit success. Now, if you want to stand there for 2 or 3 hours a day and hold the hose in the bucket, that's fine. It's going to take you longer to reach that point. But if you're committed and you go all in and you're willing to stand there with that hose, filling up that bucket of water for hours and hours and hours and hours longer than anybody else, you reach that point quicker. So experience doesn't necessarily mean age and time on the job.
No.
It refers, in my opinion, to how long you've committed to developing
because of your freelance activities, which is getting out there and hustling for no money.
For very little, not a lot,
Okay.
definitely.
Did you feel like you were taken advantage of?
I mean, no,
Or
I
was
didn't.
it- did you
I
look at it
didn't.
like, this is an
I felt-
opportunity for me?
Investment,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the way when you're young, when I first started writing freelance and getting into professional publications, I was 23 years old.
Wow.
And then when you're that age, you got to start somewhere. And a career or a writing path it doesn't happen overnight. You build and you build and you build. And you got to start small. But then if you start that way and you're willing to work for it, it does happen.
Yeah. So what's the biggest? Has anybody told you, "Hey, I got a minute. You got 1 minute. Give me your pitch."
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. Did you know what
My
to do
editor
with it?
says that to me every week.
What does he say?
Well, every week. I mean, we have idea sessions. We just go around and you say, "This is what I want to write this week,"
And it's like, that sucks.
yeah, he says that sucks all
That
the
sucks.
time, all the time. I mean, like the whole process is you're constantly subjecting yourself to criticism from the moment of inception to the moment that it hits print.
Yeah. See, I love this. Now, here's the big word that I use all the time. Do you have to be willing to get criticism?
And rejection.
And rejection. You got to get criticism. Look, people are going to criticize your ideas. Don't stop having them. You know, my wife, because she's an actress, she's got this problem with criticism because she's like, she does a video and then she goes back and critiques it herself. And I'm like, dude, what are you worried about? Don't worry about what the video looks like right now. Post it, throw it out there, get people to hate it. Because if I could get people hating you, that means they're really talking about you, right?
The best way to write any column or get attention is you find a way to isolate or even alienate a very specific interest group. And then if you can get that sort of people angry or just really upset or just get them emoting or feeling
Right.
anything.
They're going to promote your article.
I mean, if they hate you, if they love you, the best way you just want to get some reaction.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you're hearing it right here on Young Hustlers. Okay.
Get some haters.
Every week we come here and talk to you about how do you get your hustle on regardless. Terry here is telling you as a freelance writer with the Miami New Times.
I'm a staff writer now.
Staff writer.
watch out.
Oh, that means he's getting paid.
He's moving up.
He's getting paid the big bucks now.
Moving
Okay.
up.
Now, how did you hear about us and what we're doing? I think this will be good for the young hustlers to understand.
Well, the way I heard about Grant Cardone,
And you didn't know about me before that,
Well,
right?
what I didn't know, what you were talking about before was the fact of constantly generating content.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly generating content, the more information you put out there, the easier it is for you to be noticed. And that's actually how I discovered this and how I am here right now. Is the fact I saw it on Facebook, and you're just constantly. I don't know how often you tweet, but you tweet a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And you put a lot of stuff on Facebook, and that generation of content does pay off at some point.
Yeah, and you got to do it a lot. I was telling him before the show. I said, look, the number one biggest mistake most people are making with social media is one, you're being used by it, not using it. You know, so you want to take the posture of like your car. You don't sleep in your car. You drive the car, right? Social media, you want to drive the message, not just be playing Sugar Crush or War of Words or whatever the new thing is. You don't want to be hit with it. You want to be using it as a mechanism. And number two, nobody's using it enough. I'm telling you, everybody's biggest mistake is not to use it enough. I know you're worried about offending your friends and your family and, oh my God, if I post too much, they're not going to like it. Those people are not going to further your career. They will never, ever push your career.
So what advice on that note, what advice would you give somebody on how to leverage? You've done a great job using social media. What advice would you give somebody who's actually
Man, you got such a little mic.
I know, man.
What is it? What else does that mean about you, man?
Man.
Look at my mic. My mic's big and thick. I got some girth on my mic. You know what I'm saying? All these guys want my girth.
Dude, how you use social media to actually drive sales? A guy actually sent a question.
Here's a perfect example, okay? And we'll get to the question. But Terry didn't know me. He writes for a paper here in town called Miami New Times. We posted something on Facebook about whatever it takes, the show we're doing. We produce content. If you've ever heard the saying, content is king, everybody heard that? Dude, then become the king of content. Or you don't understand it. It means tremendous. You need a lot of content. You need a lot of bricks to fill the Grand Canyon up. So what I would tell people about Facebook is, look, anything you're doing that's interesting, post it on Facebook, post it on YouTube, post it on Twitter. Now, if you're not doing anything interesting, that's a problem. Okay? Because who's going to post? How many times can you post, I'm watching the game tonight? I went out to the restaurant with friends. Dude, that's not interesting. You got to do something interesting out of the box.
It's got to have value to people too, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's got to be.
He's going to write an article about me. I would expect. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or whatever, but I don't really care. Okay, because at the end of the day, okay, it's attention, and any attention at this point for me is good. Obscurity. We talk about this on last week's Young Hustlers. Obscurity is your biggest problem. It is the single only thing you need to worry about. If I don't know you, I will never do anything with you. I'll never get a chance to say, hey, I'm a new millennial. I know something you don't know about people 28 years old, or I'm 22 years old, or I'm 18 years old. The younger you get, actually, the better. The more of a phenomenon you become. Think about Zuckerberg. Think about Jesus. Think about Alexander the Great. Think about all the young people. Am I saying it wrong?
Zuckerberg.
Whatever. Okay. Okay.
Who gets paid to
think
speak
about
here?
people that have done unbelievable things. Okay. They don't walk around saying, I'm only 22. I can't offer the world anything. Let the other 74,999,099 people, be stuck on that. Your attitude matters. Okay. It matters a lot. What are you doing that's interesting? What are you doing that people actually are like, Bill, really? He was at that game? Something big. But many people are not willing to take those risks and those chances to put themselves out there because you're still trying to be the high school
popularity contest.
Popular. Okay, look, popular is not going to pay off when you're 40 years old. It will not matter how popular you were in high school when you're 40 years old. Number 3, never bring your age up in a presentation. And number 4, the big one, dude, you got to have a pitch. You had a question. Have a pitch. What's your pitch?
Yeah, no, I mean, we had a guy that was asking, hey, how can I actually use Facebook?
What does he do?
He sells cars. He's got a promotions company.
Okay, good. So if he sells cars, you sell furniture. Maybe you do dancing classes in Miami, and you want to blow your dancing class business up, or you're dating. Okay, you got to come up with something interesting that's specific to your field. Like if I was selling cars, I would post pictures of cars. I mean, it's not that out of the box, but like somebody drives up, I would take a picture of his car. We're trading for this car right now. Or I just did business with this person right now. Or I might go to the laundromat down the street that also has trucks and cars and employees and go down there and post a picture of their laundromat. Here's my new friends at Facebook Laundromat, and post them. Look, I'm trying to get attention. That's the first goal, to build your brand. That's what Twitter did, and that's why Twitter's trading for $46 right now and opened at $26. That's why some people are making billions of dollars today, because they got enough attention by enough people that people said, hey, you know what? I want to tweet. And I didn't even know what that meant 5 years ago.
I got another question here. This is a good question. This is from Amanda. I think she's a stylist, judging by her email address. Mm-hmm. Is it possible to be a successful hustler if you live in a small town with very limited population?
Yeah, I mean, is there more than 6 people?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you need to move to another town because you're only going to do 6 haircuts, okay? So I grew up in a town of about 60,000 people. My goal was to get 60,000 people to know me. Just get them all to know you, get them all to be talking about you, become the queen of that town, become the stylist, the go-to celebrity stylist of that town, so that you're doing so many haircuts, nobody else in your town even wants to play that game. It doesn't matter how big a city you are. It matters how big can you think. How big can you think? How big of a blanket can you throw? What am I doing in Miami? And Terry's here, interviewing me about writing an article about my move to Miami. Okay, I've only been here a year. He could be doing this about 1,000 other business people, right? But I
would say that
Yep.
what first brought me to this was the fact that you did have so many followers on Twitter and on Facebook, and that behemoth of a following that you have is attractive to people who want to know more about you. My main question though is how, if you're not selling books the way that you're selling them, how does one monetize a big following on Twitter or Facebook if you really aren't selling anything? I mean, a lot of people want a big following, but how does that actually endow them with anything more than they had before?
Yeah, I think, one is you got to have something valuable to exchange with people. I mean, you have to come up with something that you're going to exchange with people that's of value. Otherwise, you're saying you don't understand your value proposition. So I got to get my value proposition quantified into a product. If it's not just me. We had a group call us before this meeting today and said, hey, we want you to come speak at this deal in February. Well, if you're not a speaker, they're not going to call you. But they called me, okay? So maybe they know you, but you don't speak. I don't know. I mean, I think the individual has to either quantify products that and build or manufacture products that represent what you do or your specialty, or you got to really say, hey, I'm valuable to somebody because of my standing or what I'm doing or talking about. I become more valuable to a newspaper.
Or if you take a look at some Instagram feeds of some girl that's really good looking, and she posts pictures all the time that are, probably promiscuous.
Well, how do the Kardashians? The Kardashians don't have a problem. If you go back and look at the Kardashians, what were they doing in the very beginnings to get their name out, their brand out, that one day finally monetized? Once you get enough eyeballs, somebody's going to find you valuable. Somebody in the world is going to find you valuable. This is Grant Cardone on Twitter at Grant Cardone. That's Jared Glant.
J-Rod.
Jerry Glant. We're the young hustlers. I'm not the youngest. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, when you're 45 to 55, what do you call a hustler? Because you can't call him a young hustler. I said, you call him a parent. My name's Grant Cardone. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope this helps, man. Remember the 4 points, okay? You represent 75 million strong. Your attitude matters more than your age. Number 3, never, ever bring your age up. Nobody cares but you. And have your pitch ready. Thanks a lot.
Get
Be great.
that paper.
Stack that paper deep and tall.